I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm providing a service that people find useful.
While in school, a project she embarked on awakened her consciousness of the problems that abound in our society.
It all started out from a class I took while I was at MIT. It was called Development Ventures, and it focused on people that live at the base of the pyramid. So there are about 2 billion people in the world now that are, live at the base of the pyramid in poverty. They earn less than $2 a day. And some of the characteristics they have is they lack access to healthcare, lack access to basic financial services, and also they lack access to sanitation. So in that class, I was exposed to some of these issues. And being a Nigerian myself, Nigeria, according to the Bank of Industry, close to 70% of Nigerians are living at the base of the pyramid. So it's something that really hits home. And then I also was struck with the idea of waste, because waste, to me, is a resource that never finishes. We, as a human being, every single day, you're going to generate waste. And then it's something that I felt I could really do something to impact. The waste management is very important because, if you are living in an environment that's dirty, things like, it leads to, maybe the drains are, clogged. It's going to lead to stagnant water. When you have stagnant water, there's going to be mosquito, then there's going to be malaria. And if the person is sick, they're going to lose productivity, they're going to lose so many things. So how are you going to get out of poverty if you're not tackled? So you have to, basically, in my opinion, that's the first thing we need to tackle, is just the idea of having, awareness and, proper waste management.
Bilikiss Adebiyi started operations only about 2 years ago. And today, Wecyclers has become a household name in waste management in Lagos State, Nigeria.
We work to empower households in low-income communities with their waste. So we have a fleet of low-cost cargo tricycles that go from house to house and collect recyclable waste. They collect plastic bottles, pure water sachets, and aluminum cans. And we weigh the material, and households get points via SMS, which they redeem for prizes, like items like blenders, like sandwich makers, and even cash. We've been able to register over 5,000 households to our service and create close to about 42 jobs so far.
For benefit of people who want to start out on their own, what was your experience like starting out?
Many people want to be their own boss, but you also need to be able to be open to working in companies. So many people say, I want to start my own business, I want to do this. But how are you going to start a business when you don't know how a business should be run? So I think for me, one of the things that really helped me a lot was because I spent 5 years at a large organization. So I know how businesses should be run. I know how you should conduct yourself, with customers and subscribers. And I understand, so it's very important. So I think as a youth, you need to learn, if you want to start your own business, you need to learn by working under people and try and get that training. And also, and I think another really important thing is to learn how to build a team, because many times, people might be scared because they don't want somebody to steal their idea. So they'll just keep it to themselves, and it's like you're an island, basically. So it's very important to share your idea, share your problem, because you never know who can help you solve it. And also building a team, getting people like-minded people together to help you develop is very, very, very important. There is still a big funding gap. There's still a lot of challenges that people will face. But I think for us was we're lucky. I have to say that we're very fortunate. There are so many people with great ideas out there that might not have been fortunate enough. And I think one of the things that really helped us was my school, where I schooled MIT. They have a lot of support for entrepreneurs. So they actually have funding. You apply for the funding. If your idea is something that they like, they will give you funding.
One may wonder what a computer science graduate is doing in the unglamorous field of waste management, and Bilikiss explains that she is in it for the long haul.
I consider myself an engineer. My job was to work with large companies and help figure out problems that they're facing. And I think at Wecyclers, it's kind of the same thing. Is we have a large audience or potential base of subscribers that we can serve, and there's a problem that people are facing with their waste, especially in low-income communities, because of low awareness on recycling and the environment. So it seems unlikely, but it works out. Initially, when we started, we didn't have any clue what we were getting ourselves into. We just had this idea and we just started. And I think, over the months, it's really been fantastic because we've seen ourselves as a company, getting better. The impact is greater now that we have when you compare us to when we started, and it's really nice to see that. But I don't think we are close to where we want to be. We want to be a company that's all over Nigeria, servicing Nigerians in recycling. So we have a long way to go.
And she recounts some personal experiences that have helped mold her into the person that she is today.
My mother is an engineer, which is very unlikely to have female engineers. And I think I was shaped by my parents. First, as my mother's side, it was having a woman, break all these stereotypes, working in a male-dominated industry. And then for my father's side, my father is a feminist, because he doesn't really think there's anything that men can do better than women. So I've had that confidence from a young age. He let me drive myself. He let me, take part in, his business. So that really helped us a lot. My parents are very happy and proud. They see the potential that Wecyclers can have, and they do anything they can to really help us to go there. Every time I see them, they have a question. Have you done this? What can I do for you? And all their friends bring waste to my parents' house for me so I can pick it up and recycle it.
The company operates on teamwork while solving the waste challenges of households and recyclers alike.
Households will register with us and we will put them on a route on a particular day. And the Wecyclers will go to their house every week on that particular day to collect their plastics, their sachets and their cans. And at the point of collection, the Wecycler will weigh the material and record the weight. And then it goes to the next house and the next house until it's full. Once the Wecycle is full, it comes to our hub and is offloaded. And it goes back and continues his route. So the household in a few days will receive an SMS from us giving them a summary of the transaction, basically how many kilograms of each kind of material they've given us, as well as the total number of points they have accumulated. And then every 3 months, the subscribers will get a prize based on the amount of points they have. And if they don't want a prize, they can choose to roll it over to the next cycle. And then the waste that we accumulate at our hubs is further sorted and pre-processed. And so what we do very simple things like pressing it. For example, the plastic bottles, we just press it, remove the label and the cap and put it in a bag and color sort, and then we sell. The cans, the same thing, sachets, just bag them. But now we've expanded. We are looking at investing in my machine. So we're going to actually get a baler now that will now start to compact the waste. And it's very important to do that because it's going to help us to save on transportation costs, and it will even help to increase the price that we sell it at.
More so, their impact is felt through an incentive program in which low-income families are motivated to become subscribers.
While I was still a student, I came to Lagos and did some research. just simple interviews, asking people questions. And what we found out was that people will not give us their waste if they don't get something in return. To them, they're giving you something, and that thing is useful to you. So if it's useful to you, then give me something, make it worth my while. And it makes sense, as long as it's not extreme. So we give them something to encourage them. And in other countries, they do the same thing. People get rewards. And then another thing is, when you want to change behavior, you need to be able to have reward. And then it's also a way of giving back. 66% of people living in Lagos, are earning about, $2 a day. If we can give them something, no matter how small, it's going to go a long way. And that's why we're a social enterprise, because we are trying to bring about social change. And since we've started, we've distributed about 3 million naira worth of points. For example, we had someone that got, a television set. We've had people that got generators for their homes. And we've had someone get a toasting machine, which she will now use to be selling sandwiches, bread, which is going to help her augment her income. We had people that sell food that get coolers, and that's going to help them as well. And we also give rice as well. If you want to redeem rice, people do that as well. But also, when people now change the behavior, they will see the other benefits, vis-a-vis, cleaner environment, less, occurrences of, sickness, or even increased productivity. So I'm hoping that even, the teaser, what you get the conversation started is the point and the gifts, but really what will make them continue is all those other benefits that they get.
Okay, so you spoke a lot about mentoring. Are there any people who influenced you along this path that you have taken?
There's so many of them. People like Lucy Kanu, my parents, they've been very, very supportive. My husband, then also the Lomaya managing director, Mr. Ola Oresonya, he's been fantastic. Sometimes I go to him, stressed, exhausted, demoralized, and he always has a nice, kind word for me and word of encouragement, to get me going. And I've also gotten a lot of support from Echoing Green.
As with every business endeavor, Bilikiss is also faced with challenges, but she maintains a positive attitude nonetheless.
So some of the challenges that we faced, it was just not even understanding what a Wecycle should be, because we kind of fashioned it out from nothing. It was an idea, so we had to build it. And when we built it, it wasn't really the best, composition. So we had a lot of issues with the Wecycle falling apart. We had issues with road network, issues with, not understanding, people, what gifts are going to motivate people. Some people might not like this gift. You don't want to offend people. And then also, even with our staff, getting people to be, given a good image of the company. You have to train them, to project us in a good light. And then also funding challenges, cash flow is always a challenge for entrepreneurs. I think now for us, the challenge is just being able to really leverage, what we've been able to do well. So we've gotten, these 2 hubs that are doing well. But we need to make sure that we are doing, we are rising to the occasion. So that for us is also a challenge, is that we don't want to just sit on our hours and, not do a good job. So for us, we have to make sure that everything we're doing now is better than we've done before.
And for her, the end always justifies the means.
In Nigeria, it's actually a virgin country in terms of the opportunity that's available for a company like ours. So we want to be all over Nigeria, collecting recyclables in the low-income communities. We want to go into processing as well, because that's really where you're going to get the profits. Like what we are doing right now, it's a lot of labor. It's very labor intensive. But then if you look at the price that you sell it for, it's very low. So for you to really get a profitable and very, lucrative business, you have to go into the processing side of the business. So we have to develop a little bit of that so that we can at least cover our costs.
Since its inception, Wecyclers has been creating employment opportunities for teeming unemployed youths.
I work as HSC officer in Wecyclers. Generally, health, safety and environment of the recyclers, recycle and the environment. And also I see to make sure that the organization comply with environmental policies. We try to work at industry standard, international standard for environment, basically. Bilikiss has been a very helpful person. She's open to learn new ideas. She's open to make you understand new things. And so on both sides, we're both learning. And at the same time, she had created a base for everybody to come up with new ideas. So if you have an idea, for example, that you think this might work, and you shouldn't be scared to bring it to the table. So it's like an open organization. There's no boss, there's no young staff. Everybody's like almost the same. I started working with Wecyclers basically to get more experience and also to share the experience I already have with someone I think would appreciate the experience. But over time, like you said, it has opened my mind, it has opened my brain. There's more to what you can do than what you think you can do. And so each day when I learn, each day when I do new things, I understand I can do this thing better. I can take this thing outside Wecyclers and still make it better. So it's a continuous process of growing. That's what I would call it.
If you must work with her, you must be extremely smart because she expects you to do what she didn't even tell you. So she has also helped me in a way whereby I have to think outside the box and everything. You have to pay attention to detail, like you have to be extremely careful. You have to try to innovate your own way of doing things. Hopefully I'll take the ideas and make me a better person in the future.
Wecyclers changed my life. Since when I know Wecyclers, it changed my everything, my character, because I'm one of the boys that's inside Bola before, that's sleeping dustbin before.
I have children that are going to school. I have some in secondary school, university. So working with Wecyclers, I find it a great pleasure.
I've been working here for good 2 years now. It has helped me a lot. But my plan for the future is not that I'm going to work here for life. So I would like to advise young people out there, whatever they see to do, whatever kind of work, just put yourself and face the consequences. Then that is how you achieve your goals.
It's a big responsibility because you want to make sure that you have all these people, their families rely on us, and there's still a big need out there. Over 50% of our youth are unemployed. We have a lot of women that we need to engage. So we want to really, to grow, to be able to fill that gap in the labor market, to be providing people with employment opportunities.
Although the journey has been long and arduous, her motivation comes from the resultant achievements thus far.
I hazard to say that people would say, oh, okay, in Nigeria, there's really no recycling industry. People were not aware of that. But with us here, people see that there's a market, which is awesome. We've been able to get so many prizes. We've gotten Tech Award. We've gotten an Echoing Green Fellowship. And recently we were named as one of the Sustainia 100 company, which is basically just a list of 100 companies from all over the world that are doing sustainable things. That's really amazing. But for real, I think the biggest accomplishment that we've had as a company is when you go out and talk to my subscribers and they tell you, that they like something that we've done, or that because of Wecyclers, they've been able to do something.
However, she calls for an enabling environment for proper waste disposal and management through an efficient recycling industry in Nigeria.
There are 3 different types of waste that we collect. The first is the plastic bottles, it's PET, polyethylene, and it's actually polyester. So that PET is crushed, and then it's either it's spun into a fiber that can be used to make clothing, jeans, shoes, or even mattress stuffing, pillow stuffing, or even recycled in other countries. It can be recycled to make new bottles. But Nigeria, you cannot, according to the Standard Organization of Nigeria, you cannot recycle bottles to make a new bottle. Imagine this, all the plastic bottles that are coming into Nigeria now, that we are drinking in Nigeria, are not from recycled material. And we don't really have that many refineries because plastic is from petroleum. So every single plastic bottle that we are drinking from is imported. Imagine the cost implication to the companies that are using that plastic to sell you liquid. Imagine how that will be cut if we use recyclables. Imagine the savings that we would get. So that's just one aspect. Do you know that we don't have a smelter in Nigeria, according to my research? So basically, all the aluminum that we use, right, is melted here, of course, quite all right, but they take it abroad. So it's exported, is now smelted into new, because aluminum is one of the few materials that you can recycle, and it's actually cheaper to recycle aluminum than to actually make new aluminum product from bauxite. And when you use the recycled aluminum product, you won't even know the difference. It's very good. So, people you export it and then they make it into a new sheet. And then they import it back to Nigeria. And then, people now use it to make products. So that's a big problem. Finally, it's the plastic pure water sachets. So pure water sachets are actually recycled locally, which is fantastic. And a lot of small companies do recycle them, and they make into pellets, which are used to make paper bags. Some people even use it to make slippers, chairs, tables, and things like that. So I think in Nigeria, for us to really take advantage of all the promise that we have, we need to address the certain issues exactly. And it starts with us creating an enabling environment. Let's unlock our potential. We have the potential. We have this large population. We are intelligent people. We are wonderful people. But we just have that little roadblock that we need to, move out of the way.
This raincoat was made from recycled pure water sachets. And as a youth, Bilikiss believes in the enormous potential of every Nigerian youth.
Youth are more open to risks. We can take risks. Older people, because of the experience, they might not want to, not because they are bad, but because of the experience. But the younger people are more risk prone. I had job offers to stay in the US and work. But if I had been risk averse and said, no, I'm not going to, I'm going to stick with this sure where I'm going to make money, I'm going to do this. But all those things aside, you take the risk and make a change.
And a final note, what is your advice to budding entrepreneurs?
Stay foolish. Don't give up on your idea. When we first started Wecyclers, people would tell us, what are you doing? Are you sure? But we kept going. And there's going to be times when things are really tough, when you're going to want to give up. Don't give up. As long as you really are sure that what you're doing is right, you will find a way out. Like they say, it's in dirt that there's money. In waste, it's a never-ending resource. And I think that more and more of us should break away from that mold of trying to conform to what society's expectation is of what your livelihood should be. Don't let anybody tell you what you should be doing, in your livelihood. Because you are going to be the one doing it 24/7. You need to really love what you're doing. It could be waste. It could be, what else is unglamorous? I don't know. It could be mechanic. You could be a mechanic. You could be a swimmer. Anything you are doing, as long as you know you are good at it and you love doing it, don't give up.